Good evening. How is everybody? Me, tired. So I'm really looking forward to showing you Practical Thursdays, number 5 already. How to get the family moving without them realising, and getting more movement into your day, and having a bit of a play. I think we can be so kind of fixated on exercise and improving ourselves as kind of serious and kind of, we have to do these things, that mixing it up a little bit and having a bit of a play is just so important, because in the end what we're doing is, by getting our movement better, is being able to enjoy life better, being able to be active and mobile for longer, and hopefully living for a longer and a more fulfilling life. So, gets off soapbox. So let me just see if I can turn the camera around and show you my lounge. This is quite demanding. I haven't had a quick clear up, so let's have a look. Dun dun dun. Feel like I'm unveiling a present or something. Okay, so some of these things you might recognise, and what I do loads is just lay stuff out, and it is amazing, especially with having children. So I've got a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old, and you put something in front of them and they will find 101 ways to use it that you had never thought about. And when you have got a room full of things like this and you're at home and in private, you will realise and think, I might just have a little play with this and see what I can do. So some of these things I've bought specifically for my classes, like this is a foam balance beam. It was about £30 from a sensory place, but you don't have to use a foam beam. You could lay a belt down and it would be the same thing. It's just something to balance on, and because it has some give in it, let me see if I can see, because it has a little bit of give in it, it gives you an unstable surface as well as a narrow area to balance across. So you can walk on this, you can use it to step over, and you can do some crawling practice on it. I'm not sure if have we done much on crawling yet? It's something we're going to come into, but you can practice crawling on that. So and you can do the same on a belt, like a dressing gown belt. You could lay it down and you can balance on that. You can hop over it backwards and forwards. You can crawl along it. So all sorts of things to do. Good old half dome, always here. I've got a few of these, so we lay them out and make like a kind of ladder. Let me see if I can show you. I've got another one here. And by putting them this way, you can do calf stretches as you walk over them, or you can balance on them, 2 feet balance. Not very well. Look at me. Or balance this way. Or you can turn them over and make quite an unstable surface for yourself and walk along an unstable surface. I won't do it while I'm filming. Or stand on it this way. Just something to play with. And even just rocking your feet backwards and forwards like this can sometimes just be nice, just to get that different movement in your feet. If you had a look at that video I posted showing the movement of the feet, you can see how this would be another way to help get a bit more movement in your feet. We've got here, these are balance cushions. I got these from a physio site, and they're something like £9. They self-inflate, you have to blow them up here and you've got the thing in, and 2 sides, a rough side and a smooth side. So again, you can use these to sit on. They give you an unstable surface while you're sitting. You can balance on them. I've got 2, so you could put a foot on each one, which means you've got another unstable service. Something I haven't put out is a cushion walk, where you throw all your cushions down from your settee, and walk along them. And by walking on unstable surfaces, if I can, it helps increase the mobility and strength of your ankle. So they're great fun. This is my newest toy. It's a rocker, but you can also flip it over and it becomes a stool and something to crawl through. So that gives you lots of different things to do. You can stand. It's one of those ones where you stand a foot on each side, and then balance, rocking it back and forth. I hope my filming's not the best, is it? These balls, the massage balls, I picked these up from a shop in Woodbridge today, my local town. They're bouncy balls, 85p, and I think there was a football one and a something else one. So for 85p, you've got something that's a little bit harder than a tennis ball, that you can use for the foot massage or the shoulders and things. So that's something worth thinking about. Just hold them so you can see the size. 85p you can't moan about, can you? The cobbled mat. Now the cobbled mat is great. So each of these is bumpy, and they are for getting more mobility in your feet. So they're quite sharp, and I would suggest that you do a lot of the ball massage to help. And you could also get some river stones, which are bigger, nice big fat stones that you could lay out in one of those planting trays as well before you progress onto here. I had to use double socks to start with when I first got this out. But there's something else interesting about this mat, and that is, if you lay it wherever you lay it, you will find yourself walking around it, avoiding it. You might take a longer route to get around it. You might step across it. You might walk the other route around it. And that's really interesting. That shows so much kind of problem solving, doesn't it? From a mind perspective of, I'm not going to walk on that. I'm going to walk around it, even if it means that I walk a longer distance. And I don't know if it's mindset as well. I put this down and my toddler immediately goes and walks on it and touches it and picks at it and lifts it up. I've had it out at baby fairs as well, and it attracts all the children. They come straight over, and so many of them walk on it. It's almost like they're craving a different texture under their feet. I picked this up off from an eBay store. I just typed in cobblestone mat. So there's lots of different types of them. Quite a great investment, because you can roll it back up again when you're not using it. And it also means that, like, as we're coming into winter, where you're not going to be walking around barefoot so much, and winter boots are a little bit thicker, that you can, create yourself quite a nice kind of adventure playground for your feet and your senses indoors. We've got the good old rollers. All my children do standing on the rollers and seeing how long they can stand for, a bit like the old circus barrel rolling thing. I do a little bit when I've got the side to hold on to. And while we're here talking about using things, when this isn't being used as a stable yard, I can use this for pelvic lists. I don't know whether we've done pelvic lists before, but this is a surface. Maybe we'll talk about that next week, because we can talk about yoga bricks a little bit more. So yoga bricks, brilliant little thing. You can pick them up from Tiger, if you have the shop Tiger. They're a couple of quid in there. They've got a whole yoga section, so you can pick up quite a few bits in there for not very much money. And as you saw yesterday, there's lots and lots of different things you can use them for. So you can make yourself stepping stones from these and step from one to the other. And as well as balancing single leg balances on them. And my partner made this rocking board, and I don't know, I might have to show you, but I did a foot sense path at a free festival in a local town. This is one of the things that was there, and the kids loved it. I had trays with rice and sand and those water beads, all kinds of things, and a lot of these things as well, and the children just running around there having a lovely time. It was great. It was exciting, tiring but exciting. So the last thing I'm going to show you is this chin-up bar, and we have it quite low. This is the size for my youngest, my 2-year-old. He asks for this to come out quite often. I've just realised I'm filming in portrait, never mind. So he can use it to hang on. My oldest has another height adjustment up here so that he can hang as well, but he also will climb over it and climb on it and use the door to climb on as well. I'm thinking this year I might do it higher so I can actually use it as a hanging bar as well. But what is interesting, once it's up, it creates an obstacle to get past, and there are two things. You can see it comes to just below hip height on me, so you can either climb over it, step over it, or crawl under it. And after you get over your resistance that perhaps you don't really want a cup of tea or a glass of water to go out, and so you don't need to go out to the kitchen, it can be quite fun to see how many different ways you can get over it. So for me, I find it easier to crawl under it. So I try and make sure that I step over it, and sometimes I step over right leg first and sometimes left leg, just so that you're working either both sides of your body. And it can be quite fun just to leave it up there for a little bit longer to see how you can get over it. I know one of the movement teachers I follow, she sometimes will walk right round her whole house because she can get to the kitchen via another door to avoid having to negotiate it. So that's something that's quite interesting, isn't it? I'm going to give you one last look at everything. It looks fun. I might leave it up for when the boys come home. The gym ball. I've made this crochet jumper for the gym ball. That can be interesting. I don't do much on that myself, and that's something I want to change. But my oldest can kneel on there and bounce across the room. Amazing to see that. So that's always something useful to have. So I've distracted myself and forgotten. I'm just going to turn this around. Hiya. I think that what I was saying about the gym bar, where you can find it difficult to make the change to use it or to go over it, the same as the cobblestone mat, can be quite helpful for when you're trying to make changes. And a lot of the alignment and movement stuff is about making changes, small changes for the good, but changing habits. And I was trying to not get the reflection in my glasses. And so by investigating how you get round obstacles, it gives you a little way to gently start working out why you don't want to make those changes, and being gentle on yourself and saying, well, okay, that's fine. I don't want to go over that cobblestone mat right now, but perhaps I'll go over it later, and maybe I'll challenge myself to walk over it 5 times today. Rather than beating yourself up about, I'm useless, I don't go over that cobblestone mat. So interesting. So that feels like a bit of a whirlwind. What I might do is take a picture of this and put it up as well, so you can kind of see some of the things that can be used. And let me know how you get on. Perhaps we can have a think about cheaper ways of doing things. Instead of these, you could just get a couple of cushions. That would work just as well. I said about the tray with river stones for this. Books for your half domes. You know, I reckon most people who have been pregnant will have a birth ball somewhere. It seems to be something that you just get, isn't it? So, let me turn around. So yeah, that's it for tonight. I hope you can start having a think about how you can make a little sort of indoor playground for yourselves and your family, and just starting by putting one thing down and see whether people start to play with it and use it and balance on it. All right, nice to speak to you again. Let me know how you get on, and let me know anything else about any of the other exercises you've been doing. Are they working, helping? Do you need some more guidance? Let me know. Remember that my classes are available to book, whether you're pregnant or postnatal, or you've had your baby months or years ago and you want to work on your alignment. Then my classes are available to book. Let's have a look. Yeah, I've got a free class, a free 3-part email class, which you might be interested in. Visit my website, which is www.labyrinthofnurture.co.uk, and I'm tired. I need to have a rest, so I'm going to leave it there. I'll speak to you next week, next Tuesday, for Movement Tips Tuesday. All right, take care. Bye bye.